There's someone in the bathroom coming.
What's up, YouTube? This is Will and Will. So today we got a task for you guys. So we're gonna, one of my cables broke and I didn't know like what's going on, but this happens all the time. So my cable broke and I couldn't get sound. So an issue that could be is your solder. Wait, what is that called? The wire may have broke, right?
Yeah, it's just the wires inside broke off of their solder points,
Right.
which happens from taking it in and out a bunch of times. So that's easy fix.
Yeah. So we're gonna, Will's gonna fix it, and yeah, we're gonna show you guys how to do that.
Cool.
All
Here we go.
Yep. All right, cool. So, yeah, there's...
You think it's this end?
Yeah.
That's not good. So I just unscrew, take off the end, and that's pretty suspicious.
Yeah. So let's see if y'all can see what that is.
Kind of looks like a mess in there.
So if you see that broken point right there, that's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be attached. So that was what was causing me to not have any sound, because it's not connected to the solder point. So we're going to solder that back on and show you guys how to do that. So you're not going to solder it on. You're going to actually like redo it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a mess. So I would just cut the whole end off of it like that. So now you have a fresh place to start. So your cable just got, 1 inch shorter overall, but that's all right. It's better than going out and buying a new cable. You just fix the one you have.
Right.
Although some of these cables, I think you can take them back in the store if you can find a store, and they'll swap it. But you got to go out and drive somewhere. So a guitar cable only has two filaments or two elements to it. It's got a ground, a shield, which is this outside wire.
So the bronze looking one?
Yeah, so I took a wire cutter that has some pre-notched notches, and I just was able to take the rubber piece off the end, which revealed the outside shield.
Cool.
And then there's the lead wire, the hot wire is the inside one. So basically a guitar cable just has two elements to it. It has an outside wire and an inside wire.
So what does the hot wire mean?
It's the positive connection, and the other's the ground.
Okay, cool.
So then I used another one, and I found the inside one. This one's too long. I'll cut this one off. But basically, if you look on here, you can see that the shield is soldered to the collar of this particular guitar plug. It's soldered to this part of the plug.
Oh, okay.
And then what broke for you was this, which is the tip, which is the hot.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the
cool.
positive. So rather than try to mess with this little frayed wire, we've got a fresh wire. So here's what you do. First thing you can do is get the old wires off of this one. It'd be a little hot because this is a soldering iron and this is some lead solder. So
the way to solder is not to put the lead on to the metal, is put it on the solder first.
Right, I'll show you that. So I've got a little solder on the end, and I'm just going to melt the solder in here. So hopefully I have to get it hot enough. And once it gets hot enough, I should be able to pop that off. So eventually, if you just get it hot enough, if this iron will get hot enough, there it comes. There it went.
All right.
So it just melted enough that the wire basically just fell out.
Oh, okay.
So you're left on this one with some solder still left down in the thing, and we're just going to leave that on there. And then in the tip, this one has also solder in it too. This is hollow.
Oh, okay.
If you get it hot enough. Put some more on my... Yeah.
Oh, nice.
All right, so you've got that ready to go. One thing you always want to remember to do when you're doing cables is like in the case of this with the nitric type connectors, you got to leave the just poke myself. You got to leave the part that screws on the cable, because if you take all that off and put it on, then you can't put it on because the tip is in the way. Yeah. So different cables are made differently, but in the case of this one, you want to leave these. This you can get on because this actually splits. It'll come off, but for our purposes. Okay, so we know that the plug end has already got solder where it needs to be. So the wire end, I'm going to actually just put some solder. I'm going to melt some solder onto the actual cable end. This is called, I always heard it called tinning the wires. So I just touched the solder iron and the actual solder sort of on opposite sides of the wire, and it'll like kind of run onto the wire, and then the wire will sort of be loaded at that point. This one's too long, so I'm just going to put it down here at the end. So I've got some on the end there, and then I'm going to cut the excess off. So now what's going to happen is I don't need the solder anymore, because this solder that's on here is going to melt into the solder that's in the tip, and then this solder that's on here is going to melt into the solder that's on the sleeve.
Oh, cool.
And on this one, this thing's hot because I just got done heating it up. I'm going to do the sleeve first. So if I'm sort of doing this without a vise, so it's a little, lo-fi here. I mean, you might burn your table if you do this, but I don't really care about it. So I just put a little heat to it, and you see that the two surfaces that have solder on them have melted together.
Oh, okay.
And so now you pull on it, it's strong. That thing's hot. And then the only other one to do is to bring this guy over and basically do the same thing for the tip. So I'm going to heat that well of solder up there, and then I'm going to push the tip down into it. And
that's it?
That's it. We'll put the cable right here. So then what you can do, you can either just plug your guitar in, which is easy, or you can take a voltmeter.
Let's see that. That's a voltmeter. Cool. So we got our cable, guys. So I'm going to test it out. This old Gibson amp. Where'd you get this amp from? Again, I forgot. You told me.
I found this amp.
Both. I mean, this
K
guitar is history everywhere.
The amp was I found in a barn in South Carolina. And the K belonged to a friend of mine who I did a bunch of recording and record work for, and then we ended up just trading the guitar for some work. Remember, that guitar has the tone knob and the volume knob are in opposite places from what you think. Yeah, wiggle the ends and be sure they don't feel like they're crackling. I mean, on the cable, yeah, they don't feel like they're cutting out or anything.
Nope.
Or my new end.
Nope, we're good.
All right.
So that's how you fix a cable and like troubleshoot it if it's going wrong. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll be back for more.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.